This presentation is brought to you by the City of Greensboro's Economic Development and Business Support Office.
I just started asking questions because when my grandfather was elected Speaker of the House in Pakistan, soon after independence, he decided to pay rent to the government for that official residence. He never accepted any car or chauffeur or bodyguard or staff from the government. And he furnished that house with his own money, so he bought a lot of rugs. So I developed a lot of interest. I was reared by my grandparents. So. And by the time I was in high school, then I had developed more interest. Then I started even going to rug places, just to see how these were made, how they were finished, how they were prepared to be presented to the customer. Then after I graduated from university, I was asked to work for a bank for some time. And in that part of the world, especially I'll share it with my very young people here, that you don't have the choice of going around and trying to find yourself. No. You do what you are ordered to do. Yeah, simple as that. So I was ordered to go work for a bank, and I said, no, I'm too young. I graduated from college when I was 19 years. And he said, no, you're too young, no problem. If you get a management training program, then you join it. If you get any position lower than that, you don't have to. Well, unfortunately, they accepted me for a management training program too. It was a very large bank. So I was trained in international banking as well. So there were rug exporters who were to export it to European or American customers. So I had, in my official capacity also, I had to learn more and more because I was to finance those shipments. So it became an official responsibility to learn more and more. And I already had a tremendous interest in it. So that's how I had the, shall I say, built-in opportunity to learn more about it. The first 3 years, I could not even make minimum wage, in fact, not close to that. In my third year, I made $365 in the whole year. Sometime I think about it, I say that, how did I continue? Somebody had to be stubborn or crazy or whatever you want to say. But once it started to take off, then it took off well, of course. I had been to at least 84 Oriental rug stores in different cities, and I've observed too many malpractices. So the determination was to open a store like which there was never any store in the United States in its history. That was a tough call. Anyway, I should not make any claim like that, but several agencies have testified. New York Times has reported that there is no store similar to mine that exists anywhere in the country. I have a copy of the New York Times too. Yeah. So it has happened. Apart from the fact that it was a halfway dilapidated shop that I first rented, a little, not any bigger than this room, and now I do have 100,000 square feet, built for the business. The important thing is that no matter how highly educated you are, you cannot be an expert in everything. And in my product, no matter how many degrees and how much education you have, unless you have spent a tremendous amount of time learning about the product, people are absolutely ignorant. And I have noticed, not being a merchant, but having been on the board of Better Business Bureau for many years, that is exploited by merchants a lot, to the extent that rugs have been sold with a statement that a rug actually had 60 knots per square inch, 60. And that was sold with a statement that it had 360 knots per square inch, only thinking that the customer would never find out. So to romanticize a product is one thing, but to exaggerate and tell an absolute lie, that's another. But it does happen. It's not just the competition. Unfortunately, we didn't maintain our quality at all. I'll dare say that. I bought several office chairs from Elma Desk Company in High Point 37 years ago when I came. And those chairs are not only still in use in my office, which are used and abused, they are in absolutely perfect condition. They have not been painted, they have not had any upholstery changed, they have not had any touching up done at all. And if you come to my place, I show them to you, you will think maybe they're just new. They're just new. But since then, many chairs and tables from American manufacturers have been bought and been thrown away already. Many. Because every time I bought, the quality was lower and lower and lower. You have heard this that, oh, he has an accent, oh, but he has a terrible accent. It's a terrible accent. We have opinions like that. Well, I have always had something to say to people I talk to. Well, forgive me, we all have accent. It's just that when someone else has a different accent from yours, you say he's the one who has the accent. Yeah. Yeah. Now, the key is for us to speak as clearly as we can so that we can be understood by most people. And also key is for us to train our ears so well that we can understand everybody else too, no matter how terrible the accent. Because we are talking about the same language, we are only talking about one language, English. I'll share with you an instance I had with a customer who came, and I told him, he was in his 40s. I said, sir, I have come across many professors of English, American professors, British professors of English language, and many highly educated people, but somehow you speak so clearly. I could not help but ask you to stay with me this evening. He did. We had spent 3 hours together. And I said, sir, it's not only your pronunciation, your accent, your diction is so clear. I'm so impressed. And he said, no need to be so impressed. I said, no, sir, I am. So I asked him a question. He said, listen, I just sold my business for $45 million. And he was 45 himself. And for my business, I had to travel to many countries of the world to sell my product. And it's a shame that I only know one language, that's English, that's all. But don't you think it would be extremely unfortunate if the person in another country that I would be talking to had some working knowledge of English, but he or she still could not understand me? That would be really unfortunate for me. I say, yes. So I have spent many years to make sure that I can speak clearly enough that anybody who has any knowledge of English should not have difficulty understanding me. And the result was obvious. He had sold his business for $45 million and he was proceeding to another one with some more ambitious plans.